Howdy folks, Eric here, back with another standard brew. Today playing Bant Robots. Basically just go wide robot aggro. Affinity kind of style without any real affinity. Think like how 2014 Modern Affinity was affinity, even though they had like one playset of Thoughtcasts as their affinity payoff. Anyway, the reason we're doing this, well, first off, it's very fun. I think it's very fun. But the reason to be in robots specifically is Mendicant Core Guidelight. That's part one. We also have Physic Ethereum Mechanic, aka Iron Spider in paper, Synthesizer Lab Ship, and Salvation Engine from Aether Drift. A lot of cool Aether Drift cards in here. Basically, play to the board, try to generate speed, and then get a lot of value off of Mendicant Core Guidelight. Almost every card in our deck is an artifact, aside from one Mockingbird, and a couple Hardlight Containment, which play pretty well here. It's somewhere between aggro, mostly aggro, a little mid-range style. We have a lot of ways to shut down other aggressive decks or creature strategies. On 23 lands today, we get Hollowed Fountain from Lorwyn Eclipsed. That's about it. And sideboard Elspeth for grindier matchups, give us a little diversity, make us a little less soft to like a null. Of course, Graveyard Hate, combination of Authority of the Consoles and Split Up for other creature decks, and then Steam Rips and Sheltered by Ghosts, pretty generally accessible removal when we need it. Yeah, I think this is a pretty sweet list. I think it's it's got Brightglass Gearhulk, so how could it be bad? A little spicy synergies here and there. Hopefully they come up, like Agatha Soul Cauldron exiling Physic to give all of our creatures the ability to put counters on everything. Can go kind of crazy. One of Dragonfire Blade works nicely with these like dual colored creatures for a pretty cheap equip cost. Yeah, let's just hop into some ranked games here, see how it plays. Hopefully it's pretty cool. I think it will be. All right, starting off on the draw here against Shahar Shedhar, world champion. What up, Shahar? Shout out. Yeah, Intimidation Tactics is gonna hit a lot in my deck. Being that we're on all artifacts for the most part. Actually, it hits everything except the two Hardlight Containment. Kind of funny. We'll see what they decide to take. I'm gonna guess they're gonna go for maybe just the Nesting Bot. Maybe they take the Gene Pollinator. Who knows? It could be anything. They take the Lab Ship. Okay. Well, let's just go ahead and get the Nesting Bot online here, see if we can start to accumulate some speed. We don't have a whole lot of evasion to be able to like consistently get in, so I think it's kind of important to just start with a Nesting Bot, try to generate it as quickly as possible. They duress me, take the Perilous Snare. Fair enough. Another Intimidation Tactics, just tearing apart my hand. Well, that's fine. Not the end of the world here. We'll play a Gene Pollinator. We'll play a tapped Restless Prairie. And the speed goes up. Good thing we have a lot of cards in our deck, specifically like Brightglass Gearhulk, to be able to grind out through all of this interaction. We don't really mind being in top deck mode so much. Takes me off of a Gene Pollinator. Okay. Well, continue to swing in here. Speed 3. Play a Starting Town. 2 lands in hand. Might be able to get them with another. They might just decide to rip another hand rip piece. I'm going to swing in here. They could just like block with an Enduring Curiosity. It's a pretty low cost for me. It might bait them out to like tap out and block, where I can like safely just land this Gearhulk. I'm going to go for it anyway here. I think we typically want like Multiversal Passage on white. Go for a Brightglass, see if they have a Tishana's Tidebinder, or maybe just a straight up counterspell. 3 steps ahead. Okay. Well, we're kind of technically winning though, in a way. Kind of seems like they don't have a whole lot going on, and I can start firing up this Restless Prairie. Get in for 6. Swamp. Nesting Bot just might go the distance to see. Well, that's a pretty good draw. But they have nothing now. And we have quite a few good top decks. Hard Light Containment, a little far from that being good. Pass it back to you. Demolition Field. Okay, not a bad draw for them. Another land. Well, let's make them Demolition Field, I suppose. Fair enough. Not too many basics in this list. Hopefully they don't find that out. And might as well play this Temple Garden. It's a little rough that we're in this sort of top deck mode and they landed that Deceit, but we're both kind of hitting quite a few lands. Well, one more draw step here. Yeah, gonna have to scoop that one up. Damn. It was close, though. Had they not hit that Deceit in a timely manner, we were actually beating in for quite a lot over the course of the next few turns. Bring in the Elspeths. I think Ghost Vacuum's pretty good, but I don't think we need to worry about like Soul Guide Lantern for this matchup, really. Let's go down to one Hard Light Containment. Can be a little awkward here. Dragonfire Blade seems pretty decent. Lava Spur Boot seems great. Go down a couple Perilous Snares, I think. It's not the worst card in this matchup because it eventually does kind of turn into like an Innkeeper's Talent. I think Salvation Engine could have a chance here. Although it's kind of bad through board wipes, they're pretty likely to bring in some kind of board wipe. Let's just go down to one. Alright, game 2 on the play. It's pretty slow, but it's actually kind of good through like hand rip effects, just being able to hit our land drops consistently. Let's go ahead and keep this. Get the lab ship on the field, and now they can duress me and it's pretty decent, but if they just like intimidation tactics, it's only okay. Just play out our stuff. Soul Cauldron, pretty decent in this matchup, keeping them off of their Caballero. And we have a clear goal now. Just hit the Elspeth. Okay, they can take a Salvation Engine. It wasn't going to be that good anyway. Just exile stuff out of their graveyard to keep their ability to collect evidence down. Gene Pollinator. Tapped land. Play our Gene Pollinator here. This lets us cast the Elspeth next turn and start stationing this lab ship here. See if they have any counter magic for Elspeth. I think I'm just going to jam. Assuming they don't like duress me. This is a very tense match. I was thinking about killing my Gene Pollinator, maybe. Or just tapping out for a stock up here. Kind of feels like he doesn't have a whole lot going on. Contemplating just holding up counter magic. Thunderous Velocipede. I'm just going to jam. What you got, Shahar? Three steps ahead. Okay, fair enough. Pretty good. I don't mind making them spend 3 steps ahead, though, but they're pretty happy to hit an Elspeth for sure. Stock up. Well, there's the stock up. Thunderous Velocipede's kind of interesting here. I've never actually cast this card, I think. They kill the Gene Pollinator to keep me off of being able to station the lab ship here. And they have a lot of cards in hand. Eat the stock up. There's a nesting bot. So we just play out our hand here, I suppose. Play a Thunderous Velocipede. Play a nesting bot. We can crew up the velocipede in the future if we want. Just gonna station for now. I could have like exiled the gene pollinator first and gone for a station, but I think this is okay. I think I'd rather hold up. I'm gonna go for this and just continue to station my lab ship here. Hold up my Agatha Soul Cauldron. Harvester of Misery, hard cast. Well, I'm going to respond to this just by putting a counter on my nesting bot here. Diadrine Synthesis Amalgam. How do I play this out? So I can cast this for 4, or X equals 2, crew up this lab ship here, and start getting quite a lot of value off of this attack. I could also think about crewing up the Velocipede, but I think he'd be pretty happy to trade here. So let's just go ahead and swing in. Base 2/2. That's pretty good. Take some counters off of here. Draw a card. Enters with a counter. Just play the Botanical Sanctum and pass it back. Pretty decent board we've generated here. We weren't that weak to a board wipe last turn, but now we are a little soft to a board wipe. I'm just going to let this hit. I think that's okay. Make them have it. And then I'll untap with a nesting bot if they have the deadly cover up here. Okay. Sorry, untap with the servo token, which is going to be kind of relevant. So now I can fire up the Velocipede. Let's go for Gene Pollinator. Enters with a counter. Go for another counter. And swing in with the Pollinator plus Velocipede. Does not give them a whole lot of time to find an out here. Another deadly cover-up would be pretty good for them, though. Tapped Restless Reef here. Voyager Glide Car. That's not quite going to be enough, but I can swing out. I think this is lethal if they don't have any answer to it. Just swing. If all they have is fire up the Restless Reef, then they're dead. The end on the Velocipede. Well, there's only one. Okay. He gets to take a look at my deck list. Alright, exiled the one Velocipede. 3 mana left here. Still in my attackers. I think I'll just let this happen. Hold up this Agatha Soul Cauldron. Bitter Triumph, discarding and Intimidation Tactics. Okay, curious to know what their last card is here. Play a Voyager Glide Car. Get a Scry going. Take a Gearhulk. Seems pretty good. Pass it back to you. Deceit. Okay. Bounce my Pollinator. Maybe they're going to deal with the Glide Car here. They should bounce the Pollinator, though, because I can make the Pollinator 5/6 to swing in with. Or not quite. No, not quite. But still, I know there's a Gearhulk on top that I can deal with the Deceit with. It's going to be kind of close here. I can put them to 1 next turn. Unless I have some other fun secret lethal. Makes me discard the glide car here. Last card's a land, perhaps. Yep. Exile the Diadrine. Gearhulk on top. Cast a Gearhulk. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So we could just Hardlight Containment here and then grab a Mockingbird for the future. It's a little risky if I do that. It's probably best to just like grab another creature for the long term. So let's grab the Hardlight Containment. And then maybe, yeah, Mockingbird's pretty good. Lava Spur Boots is kind of interesting too. Let's just go with the Mockingbird. No, let's go with another Nesting Bot. Don't let Gene Pollinator auto-tap here. Exile your Deceit on my Soul Cauldron. Swing in for 4. Don't need to fire off the Soul Cauldron quite yet. And this is just a lethal board if they just draw a land or something. Alright, nice, GG. You know, maybe I should have grabbed a Mockingbird there anyway, because at the very worst, it's like they're at 1 and it can just enter as a 1/1 flyer. Something to think about. Let's go down a land. Maybe just like cut a Botanical Sanctum and go up Salvation Engine. Seems alright. Run it back. Alright, game 3 on the draw. Decent hand. I mean, lands and spells, you can't really ask for too much more. A little bit of redundancy in the Mendicant core is not the worst thing. He doesn't do a whole lot by himself. Obviously, like, at base, he's just a 1/3 if he's the only thing on the field, but at least he can swing in, you know, and kind of threatens to get quite a bit bigger later. I'm just going to go for the Hollowed Fountain here, rather than the Botanical Sanctum quite yet, just to deny a little bit of information. Quantum Riddler. Okay. Well, I can cast this Glide Car and Cauldron to present a pretty decent attack next turn here. I'm just going to play the Sanctum. It gives them a little more information, but that's okay. Go for a Glide Car, get a Scry going. Lab Ship. We'll just put that on bottom here. Soul Cauldron, swing in for 3. Get the speed going. Gearhulk in hand's pretty nice. Wouldn't mind just drawing maybe another land at this point. Carsey Revenant. Okay. Back to me. Exile your tactics here. I think I might just swing in. I have another Mendicant Core, right? I wonder if he annuls the second one. Takes it. Okay. I'm gonna go for the no. I can't really play around Annul. Either he has it or he doesn't. I'm just gonna jam. I'm gonna grab, I think Hardlight Containment looks pretty good in this position. We can do the same thing where we just put it on a Soul Cauldron. Makes it a little awkward for him. And then Mockingbird is a pretty decent threat, although for the future, Lava Spur Boots becomes a pretty big problem for my opponent with the way they're tending to just sort of bounce my guys. Like, if they bounce my Gearhulk, yeah, obviously with a Deceit, they can, like, take it from my hand at the same time, but it takes away some tempo options as far as like the bounces are concerned, and enables like future Gearhulks to be pretty nice threats. Swinging in for 3 here. You gonna wipe the board? Gaining a good chunk of life. Speed 3, so Mendicant is online next turn. I could get 2 Lava Spur Boots on the field. Kind of funny. Wow, ripping a Consult the Star Charts. Okay. All right. That's pretty much a desperation play. It means he has a lot of action in his hand, but no lands. See if he hit a Requiting Hex here. Go ahead and exile your Consult the Star Charts. Back to me. Another Voyager Glide car. Kind of interesting. Well, we swing in, right? I'm still going to be able to get to max speed no matter what. So he can deny me. He can't really deny me a whole lot here. With this one piece of, with this 1 mana open, and say he hexes here, right? I still go up to speed 4. I can go Mendicant Core Guidelight Part 2, and then like double up a Glide car. Hex on the core. Okay. That's fine. Hit you for 4. Let's play the second one and then double up this Glide car. Get some extra scries. Pretty good through their future board wipes. There's a Diadrine. I think we can keep that on top. Pretty good draw with this Lava Spur Boots in hand. Play a Starting Town. Pass it to you. So he needs 2 things to kind of go right here. He needs to hit his land drop and also maybe just have like a Deceit here, just another big body. But I have this Hard Light Containment. I have this Diadrine on top with Boots in hand. Goes to swing in, get a little extra life. Okay. Got a lot of cards in hand. It's just going to be a matter of being able to deploy them in time. Shocks in a Watery Grave. I think I'm planning on like putting a counter on a Voyager Glide car here. With the Agatha Soul Cauldron in the end step. Deceit. Okay. Which targeting? Mendicant Core, probably. So let's go ahead, fire up a Glide car here. Let you do the thing. Working with perfect information. He's kind of thinking about whether he needs to take this Hard Light Containment. And if he discards the Mendicant Core, it gives me a little more fodder for the Agatha Soul Cauldron. Interestingly enough. But officially tapped out. Takes the Hard Light Containment. Okay. Well, let's go for a counter on our Glide car here. Actually, let's just put it on the Gearhulk. I think that makes a little more sense. Back to me. We knew we were drawing this. How do we play this out? Play the Mendicant Core, cast a Lava Spur Boots and copy it, and then just swing in with a big Gearhulk. That's not bad, right? We could also tap out for the Diadrine. Swing in. I don't think I like that necessarily. Let's just go for the Mendicant Core play. We can also swing in with a hasty core if we wanted to. Put a lot more material on the field here. And he's getting big. I don't know that I'm interested in like just trading him off necessarily. But it might not be bad. I'm just gonna swing with the Gearhulk, I think. Pretty good attack, a little conservative. We're not too likely to die next turn because if they have removal from Mendicant and can fire up the Restless Reef, we have a million like Voyager Glide cars to block with. It's close. Swing it on in. I think maybe I just like go for a chump here. I have a lot of glide cars to give up. Back to me, huh? All right, what you got, brother? Maybe like a 3 steps ahead. Copy their Carsey Revenant. Ghost Vacuum. I could do Diadrine on X equals 2. Equip some boots to it and swing in with everything. Do I lose to anything there? Say they have like 3 steps ahead. I'm gonna just do this. See what you got. I'm not copying this, obviously. Legendary. See if you have any interaction for this. He's letting it happen. Letting me move to combat here. So if I swing in, maybe I just have to swing in with everything. Well, if I make a robot here, though, say I swing like this and make a robot, then he won't be able to take me off of blockers next turn, like for next turn, I think. And that's pretty good. So this is still a lethal attack, and now I have extra material to work with for next turn to like play a little more defensively. He could still go for like a 3 steps ahead, copy the Deceit, and just present a big blocker for my Diadrine. Wan Shi Tong. That's pretty good. And pretty big. I don't have any material to work with here. Goes to block the Diadrine. Okay. Still taking 5 here. Play a Restless Prairie. Pass it back to you. I'm not just dead yet. This has been kind of an intense match. For me, personally, I don't know. Anytime I see anyone that I know this is someone in real life and they're a good player, you know, it's just like, all right, sit up. Let's do this. Let's do this thing. Because I know they're going to be bringing it. See if I can hang. Swinging for 6, Vigilance, makes sense. Another 5 here on the ground. I'm just going to do the same thing. Chump with a Voyager Glide car, I think. And 2 in the air. Okay. Yeah, we'll go for another chump here. Tap Mendicant Core, I think. Doesn't super duper matter. Still not really willing to give up any of my real material. Still just going to try to gun for lethal next turn. I guess what he could have here is like 3 pieces of removal in this exact instance. Which is, if that's what you got, that's what you got, you know? He goes to 4. I go to 3. If he wipes the board and also has like a requiting hex, he might be baiting me into like firing up my Restless Prairie. So he's at 4. I have 1 counter to work with from my graveyard. I can just like put the shoes on the robot and swing in. Also fire up my I'm gonna jam, you know. Fire up the Restless Prairie, shock myself, equip the boots. Go for the boots. Guess I don't have to shock myself here. Fire up a Restless Prairie. Tishana's Tidebinder on the Restless Prairie. Okay. Pretty good. Kind of maybe expecting that as a possibility. Well, I've got no choice but to swing in. I'm going to go for it. If he's got one more piece of interaction, then I think he's got this. Tishana's Tidebinder from downtown. So it always plays out like that. You just go to fire up the Restless Prairie and they happen to have the Tidebinder. It really sets you back in this situation. Yep, go for it. Do you have another Tidebinder? Harvester of Misery. Ward 1. Okay. GG. Fun one. GG. Peace out, Shahar. Let's move into that was a long match. Move into match number 2 here. I'm gonna keep it to 3 matches for this video, as I had mentioned in some previous videos. So 2 more matches here. Let's see if we can win a couple. Match number 2 on the draw. It's an okay hand. Honestly, maybe I should have put this back. Maybe we'll see how it plays out. Having turn 2 Soul Cauldron with the Hardlight Containment could line up pretty nicely against like this deck specifically. Looks like this is the mono green Landfall build. So having a Soul Cauldron to like exile the Fabled Passages and whatnot out of their graveyard is kind of relevant. Looks like they're just going to activate Bossing Say here. Maybe they just have a couple lands in hand. Firing up the Bossing Say. Llanowar Elves. Okay, so garbage in hand. Swinging out. We need to hit our land drops. That's basically all we need here. That is the opposite of a land drop. Well, I could exile the Badgermole Cub, but ultimately, I don't think the extra mana matters that much for them here. Just gonna play a Nesting Bot. Present some chumps for this big forest that they could swing in with. I can exile the forest. I do have ways to interact with that, so Do we need a counter on this servo? Probably not. Multiversal Passage. That's a decent draw. Well, I suppose we shock ourselves and play this Perilous Snare. Or I could just Hard Light Containment the Forest now to reset it. That's not bad. Play the Multiversal Passage tapped, save a little life. I'm going to put this on white. I'm trying to think of what I'm most likely to draw here. Yeah, white makes sense to me. I won't be able to cast Mendicant Core, but I think casting Mendicant Core doesn't get me out of this pickle. It's just like resolving a Gearhulk might be the only thing at this point. And if I put this on blue, I won't be able to cast my Gearhulk in the future. Swing it in. Let's just block the Llanowar Elves and put a counter on my on my servo here. No need to give up the servo quite yet, I think. Temple Garden. So we get to play a Gearhulk. We have to shock ourselves in the process, but this could be pretty decent. They don't have lethal on board quite yet. Do I have any way to gain back life? Not really. Not really. No Basilisk Collar in this one. Grab a Hard Light Containment. Grab a Mockingbird, perhaps, to copy the Gearhulk. Pass it back to you. We can get a little extra mana by exiling this Llanowar Elves for next turn if we want to. Feeling pretty sleepy today, by the way. Sorry if this is a little more of a straightforward, like, I'm not being particularly funny or interesting, just kind of da-da-da, but rough night last night. Last night was the Super Bowl. Rough game for the Patriots, not that I particularly care. Block like this. Let's go ahead and keep our servo alive. Llanowar Elves. Temple Garden. So we can reset their forest if we want. We can actually like exile the forest and permanently exile it with this Hard Light Containment, which might be a little annoying for them. Or we could just cast a Mockingbird. Actually, we cannot cast the Mockingbird. We do not have blue mana. Small mistake, perhaps. Let's go for a Perilous Snare. We just have to like keep them from being able to get wide here, I think. Exile a Llanowar Elves. Just exile this forest forever, I think. Oh, no, I can't. Because I'm not killing it. I'm just exiling it. Okay. Fair enough. I guess I just have to pass. Not really much to be done there. Saz's Chocobo. Salvation Engine, huh? Once again, I've never cast this card either. But I was like, we just have so many artifact creatures. It gives +2/+2. At a certain point, it's got to be kind of decent, right? Firing up the Bossing Say. We can wait on exiling the Cub, I think. Gene Pollinator, pretty good draw for us here. I think it's more important to get the Gene Pollinator on the field than a Salvation Engine. Gives us more blockers. Pass it back. They only have so many lanes to work with for their Bossing Say. Green Shell on the field. Okay. Pretty decent target for us to copy with the Mockingbird if we want to. Promising Vein. Shared roots. More land drops. Pretty decent stall for us here, though. If we had something like a Basilisk Collar or Shelter by Ghost or something like that, we could break this game wide open, but pretty much just forced to play defense for now. Counter on the Gene Pollinator here. Diadrine. The Synthesis Amalgam. So actually, I think I'm gonna go for a Mockingbird on the. Actually, if I go for a Mockingbird, then they just fire up the Bossing Say again and kill me. Well, I guess I could take one from a Llanowar Elves. So if I go for Mockingbird, I have 3 creatures. I guess maybe I just play a Mockingbird on the Gearhulk. And then I have kind of a nice wall to block with, and I can grab just some more Dinguses to put on the field. So X is 3. Yas. Copy the Gearhulk here. Wait, did I just pay 4? Why did it? No. Yeah. Why did I pay 4? I'm pretty sure I put X as 3. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I goofed. Grab a nesting bot. Let's just grab 2 nesting bots. Pretty good with this Salvation Engine planned in the future. Pass it back. Not a whole lot we can do. Would have been nice to have been able to deploy 2 nesting bots, but that's okay. I'm kind of seeing a future where eventually I like just start poking in with this Gearhulk over their stuff, and then eventually my speed will be online and I get to double up a Salvation Engine, which is kind of interesting. I guess if I can just cast one next turn, and then my Gearhulk will be big enough to beat their green shell. Heading on vacation here pretty soon. Visiting a friend in North Carolina, my disc golf buddy. We play basically nonstop disc golf together while we hang out, when we hang out. Beautiful place to play. Get out of this Michigan snow. And my Michigan homies know this winter has been crazy. Just like I feel like I can't remember seeing the ground in months. I don't feel like I'm exaggerating. It's been just nonstop snow on the ground, completely frozen, cold temperatures. Recent Michigan winters have not been like this. Mightform Harmonizer. Not firing up the Bossing Say. Swinging out. So they have 1 double, but they don't have trample. So I do just have to block each of the creatures here, which is fine. I guess they don't get to kill off a Gearhulk, though. I don't know that I like this attack that much. I guess if I first strike this forest dead, they get another trigger, but it doesn't really matter. They can like double the size of Chocobo power, but it doesn't really matter. First strike. Yada yada. Yeah, just block like that. Put a counter on my servo if I wanted to, but once again, it'll just get a counter from this Gearhulk killing this forest, so we'll just let it go down like this. I guess I could exile this forest right now, keep them down a land for the future. Keep them that much farther away from the Gearhulk, or sorry, from the green shell being relevant. Bossing Say on the Promising Vein. Mightform Harmonizer leaves, and we have a full hand. Just gotta figure out how we want to sequence this. So if I play the Salvation Engine, it doesn't really advance my board, and they can present 4 attackers next turn. So I do need to commit something to the board. So I can't play the engine this turn, but I could just like swing in with a servo. I could do something like this. Play a Diadrine for, let's say, 4. Sorry, X equals 2. X equals 2. Swing in with a servo, make a robot, and advance my speed here. Draw a card. There's a Physic. Hitcha. Play a Restless Prairie. Play another Robot. I guess I could have swung with 2 creatures in this case, but that's okay. Escape Tunnel, not a great draw for them here, to be honest. Oh, actually, it's an incredible draw. All right, GG. Oh, Escape Tunnel. I invented that move. I invented that move. People can attest to this. I invented it. Like day one of Mightform Harmonizer being out, I was like, you can do like Escape Tunnel shenanigans with Ice Till Explorer, and I would just go around to bug people at my FNM and be like, did you know about this? Because it's kind of crazy. Anyway, embarrassingly get bopped by my own play. I mean, not that it. Of course, everyone else independently discovered it. I'm not saying I'm the only one. I think a Ghost Vacuum's fine. I think we can skip the Soul God Lantern. Split Up's kind of decent. Split Up can be decent if they have like big dumb tree boards later in the game. Authority of the Consoles kind of shuts down like Wagon if they're on Wagon, but it doesn't seem like they are. Authority of the Consoles lets me swing in though. And them being a green deck means they're like 100% reliant on blocks as a form of defense. Let's go ahead and take out all of that stuff. Seems pretty good. We can take out a Dragonfire Blade, although it makes my Green Hulk or Gearhulks big enough to swing into their green shells. Cut the boots. Cut a Velocipede. Cut a Salvation Engine. Yeah, I don't know if I'm a believer in the Salvation Engine. Just the fact that, like, I don't know. It's basically just a 5-mana anthem for your artifact creatures, but it's no Sculpting Steel, you know what I mean? It's got more text, but the text is kind of irrelevant, because it's like, okay, I'm putting this thing on the board that might just do nothing, if you have nothing else going on, you know? And run at 61 cards, who cares? On the play. Mulligan-this. Okay, this is pretty decent. Let's put back... I think Physic is a pretty good way to win this game. Labship 2. Let's put back the Authority of the Consoles here. It's kind of nice to play when we're already kind of ahead, in a way, just to help close out a game. Another Physic. And play a Labship here. Start stationing this. Shared Roots. Rampin'. Temple Garden. Might as well shock myself. I don't think my life total's super duper relevant. Play a Physic. Crew up the Labship. Make my Gene Pollinator a 2/2. I think I might as well just swing here. Start chipping in. Saz's Chocobo. Well, that's not an Ice Till Explorer. Earthbender Ascension. Okay. So I think I'm just gonna Perilous Snare the Chocobo here. Gives me a good attack. A little better, like it's not as harmful if they kill my Perilous Snare. And now I get to go like Labship on the Perilous Snare. Start swinging in and buff my guys. Speed going up, Restless Prairie. And we get to use the Perilous Snare to station the Labship. Important little piece there. There's an Ice Till. So they're going to start going crazy here. Although, actually, it seems like they don't have a... Well, okay, well, they hit a fetch. Probably the worst one for them, but still pretty good. Badgermole Cub. I mean, they're definitely online. I'm not really presenting a fast enough clock, probably, to beat them out here. Perilous Snare is not a bad draw, though. So we can go play a Perilous Snare. I think maybe I just have to exile the Earthbender Ascension. I don't know. It's got to be Ice Till, right? Ice Till is just kind of crazy. I want to fire up this lab ship. I guess I'll just have to do it post-combat. Swing in with Physic. And a Perilous Snare here. And then plan to fire up the lab ship with the Gene Pollinator post-combat. They're thinking, what you got? Origin of Metal Bending. Interesting. Go for the Physic here. Kind of surprised they're not deciding to kill off one of my Perilous Snares there. Station this up. 4/4 flyer for next turn. And then if we draw land... Well, actually, we don't even need to draw land. We can just swing in with a 5/5 lab ship and a 5/5 Perilous Snare with this Restless Prairie. Both in the air. I don't think they can get lethal here. Not enough land drops, probably. It's going to be a pretty good effort, but 14's just a little too much life for them, I think. And I have lethal in the air. Escape Tunnel. Interesting game, interesting game. Swings in for 4. Fine. Swings in with everything. Not quite everything. No blocks. We need the lab ship to survive. And this ought to do it. I'm not sure that they clearly don't see it. They can get a couple more land drops here, but it's just not going to be enough. All right, hits me. Back to me. They didn't crack any fetches. So we go activate Gene Pollinator, tap this Perilous Snare, fire up the Restless Prairie, auto pay, move to combat, lab ship on the Perilous Snare, and swing for 10 in the air. GG. Okay. Synthesizer lab ship kind of carried that game in a way. We get to see game 3 here. Let's bring in another split up. Slow down some aggressive starts, maybe even the seam rips as well. Let's go down. Go down a Dragonfire Blade. The Perilous Snares seem really good here. Yeah, what do we even cut, man? Maybe we just need like one Sheltered by Ghosts with all of the split ups. And go to one Seam Rip. 61 cards, fuck it, who cares? Alright, on the play. Oh, I did not mean to mulligan that. I don't know how that happened. I guess I'll keep this. That was weird. Watch the replay. I did not mean to mulligan that. I think it maybe just like clicked as I was dragging my mouse across on accident. It was a pretty good hand too. This is not bad either. Drawing the Multiversal Passage really helped there. We I guess we just play Gene Pollinator. I could like play Gene Pollinator and Mockingbird on it to guarantee that I get to split up next turn. Ooh. Or maybe just Mockingbird on a Llanowar Elves is better. Multiversal Passage on blue, not my favorite thing, but no Gearhulks in hand. Ice Till. Okay, we're popping off. I think I'm just going to split up this Ice Till. They might save it, but it gets it out of my life. I'm just going to go for it. They could save it with like an Origin of Metal Bending, but to win, they'd have to have exactly like Origin of Metal Bending plus Harmonizer next turn. Fair. 1 for 1. 1 card, 2 cards left for them. We have another split up in hand here. And they have the Harmonizer. Well, literally nothing we could do. Had we played the Shelter by Ghost, they would have just killed it anyway. All right, 0-2. Going to game 3 both matches, so let's play one more. See if we can actually pull out a full match win here. All right, match 3 on the draw. Pretty decent hand here. Salvation Engine and the mana to support it at the very least. Just lead on a Botanical Sanctum. Gotta go starting town, starting town. Guess we're swinging in. Jeskai control. I mean, these have been some grindy matchups. We'll see how we fare here. I think I might just play the Perilous Snare as a way to get my speed online. Okay, well, I'm just going to do the Nesting Bot instead. Makes a little more sense. Pay a life. It's Nesting Bot. Coming at ya. Speed at 2. Let's go. Pass it back. Not a whole lot of action from our opponent. I think I'm just going to leave it like this for a little while. Just probably play my Restless Prairie. Start swinging in. I guess we'll see if they do anything in combat here. Maybe I'll jam a Gearhulk if they tap out for like a Wan Shi Tong or something. Back at ya. And just play a Restless Prairie here. No need to jam. Eventually the Nesting Bot will be a 2-1. Bump the clock a little bit. I might just cast this Salvation Engine next turn. It's kind of an interesting idea. Starting town, huh? Well, I'm just going to keep swinging. If they want to tap out for a Wan Shi Tong or like an Unagi here, that's fine. Hitting my land drops, can't really complain too much, and if they do tap out, I get to jam a Gearhulk. It's pretty good here. We have some good targets for this matchup in the Lab Ship and Voyager Glidecar. Pretty annoying for a control player to have to deal with. Do you allow me to get to full speed? It looks like they do. Alright. Just play starting town. Pass it to you. They might just go for an Unagi here. Wouldn't be too surprised. A million cards in hand. Considering their options. Oh, they decide to just pass. Okay. 6 mana available now. Hard Light Containment. Well, swing on in. I think maybe now I get to go for a Mendicant Core. At the very least, I get to pay for a... No More Lies. And then if this does resolve and stick around, I get to, like, put 2 copies of my next spell on the stack, like a Gearhulk. I doubt it's going to live, but could make it hard for them to deal with that. Or like a copied Salvation Engine actually would be kind of good. They might just Day of Judgment here, though. I mean, if they just, like, pass and leave up Jeskai Revelation, it's not going to be great for them. Tap a Mistrise Village. Okay, I mean, I do have blue. Interesting. Yeah, this is fine. Feels like a Gearhulk window. Gonna go for the Gearhulk. We also have the Lavaspur Boots in the deck. Just gonna start jamming in with the Gearhulk here. Let's grab Boots, and I think, like, we have this Mendicant Core. Maybe, like, doubled up Synthesizer Lab Ship is pretty good long term. Or maybe just, like, another Nesting Bot is a little annoying for them to deal with. Swinging for 6. See what they have. I mean, if they don't have another land, they can't Jeskai Revelation the Gearhulk because of the Ward 1 from the Boots. I would assume they have another land, but actually could be a little bit of a pain point for them. Also, this Mendicant Core would be a pretty big hasty fireball at their face if they, like, just tap out for a Day of Judgment here again. Tapped Hollowed Fountain. Okay. Well, they can't target Gearhulk with Jeskai Revelation. So what does that mean for me? I guess it just means I attack. Jam. Move to jam? Move to the jam phase? Is it okay if I move to jam? They're contemplating whether it's okay. Bone Diddly. What you got, dude? Swing on in. Lightning Helix. Okay. Gain a little life back. Sounds good. Yeah, maybe I go for a Mendicant Core here. Little susceptible to Day of Judgment next turn, but not if I also cast a Nesting Bot afterward. Go for a Mendicant Core. Go for a Nesting Bot. Put some stuff on the board. They could normalize this just to keep me from... They could just, like, normalize one of these now, you know? Not super relevant, though. I'd be sad to see Ultima, obviously. That'd be kind of crazy. You don't really see it too often on the ladder, but it would absolutely ranch me right now. Jeskai Rev, main phase. Okay. It's fine. 2 mana available. Just go for, like, a Perilous Snare. And then a Hard Light Containment. I don't think they can deal with the Gearhulk now. If I just make it a 7-power guy. I guess I can't make it 7 power, but I can kind of force them to, like, Lightning Helix my Nesting Bot, which they don't really particularly want to do. Actually, also in this window, I could like play my second nesting bot now and put the boots on it. So no more lies on this. Well, I just pay for it, brother. Not that complicated of a math equation to solve. Swing at you. Game 1 down. Jeskai control in the books. All right, love to see it. See if we can win the next one. So we'll bring in the Elspeths. Go down both the hard light containments, probably. Not really exactly what we want to be finding here. Ghost Vacuum's decent. Not to exile their stuff, just to like present this cheap thing that will eventually pop and be kind of like a relevant board for us. Authority's probably... It's probably fine. We'll skip on it. Go down a Sanctum, go down a Salvation Engine, up the Elspeths, try it like that. Anticipate that they bring in a Null, but they might not bring in Negates for Elspeth, so we'll see. Alright, decent hand. Double Diadrine, not bad. We can just kind of play them on curve. Assume they deal with the first one. Starting town. Just lead on a tapped Temple Garden here. Could shock in a Hollowed Fountain. That'd be kind of funny. Play a little mind game. Nesting Bot. Well, I'm going to go for that over the Diadrine. Plays around Spell Snare. It's annoying for them to have to deal with it. Gives me a way to start generating speed. Consult the star charts. Trying to hit a land, maybe? Usually when I see this, I'm assuming people are just trying to like hit their next land drop. When they play the consult for 2. Alright, swing in for 1 here. Double Gearhulk in hand now, double Diadrine. I think I might as well just start casting my stuff. Not a whole lot of harm in that. And then if they kind of have to counter this, because it'll be a 3-4 if they don't. A little tough for them to deal with that, outside of like Get Lost. Or maybe they're on Seer. Contemplating. Resolves, okay. Would love to resolve this Elspeth. Now that would be something. A Braid on the Diadrine. Fair enough. A Braid, pretty decent. Not against Elspeth, though. We'll see if that pays off. Dragon Fireblade is kind of interesting. Well, we can just cast and equip this. Probably better than going for a Gearhulk. If they counter this, I can just play a Diadrine. Hexproof from monocolor could be a problem for them in the future. Could force a Lightning Helix here. Plus, we got the cool art. What are they going to do? I'm really excited to build Hammer Time in Pioneer. I want to play like Selesnya Hammer Time, 4 Gearhulks, of course, 4 Sigarda's Aid, 4 Hammers, of course. And you just get a lot of cool utility in that with that. And you can just like play Clouds too, just to find your hammers. Just this all-in toolbox, equipment toolbox, you know. Okay, well, I'm gonna go for equipping the blade here, I think. It's pretty good. Gonna try to crack a map here as well. I mean, they might Lightning Helix, but I'm getting like a lot of value out of this this blade. Do we want a Mendicant Core? Eventually, I suppose. Sure. Give them something to think about. Swing in for 4. It's pretty good. Hexproof from monocolor, so not everything, but can't be abraded now. Also can't be Lightning Helix because it's a 4/4. Pretty solid creature we have here. It can be Jeskai Revelation, but they're a couple lands away from that. Also, maps let us like trigger our Diadrine, having counters on our creatures here. Stock 'em. Interesting. I think I'm just gonna go for the Mendicant Core, see if they spell snare it or no more lies, and then depending on what they do, I might just go for the Diadrine afterward. Tapped Elegant Parlor. No need to run out any of this other stuff here, I think. Mendicant Core straight up resolves. Maybe we just go for the Diadrine anyway. Make them kind of wipe the board here, I suppose. Get a redraw here. It'll land. Shock ourselves. White's fine. Go for another map on this servo. Now they kind of have to wipe the board. Another Mendicant Core. I think we'll just pass on that one. They kind of have to wipe the board. I don't think Jeskai Rev isn't like it'll slow me down, but yeah, there's the Ultima, but this might be a window for Elspeth to sneak on through. All right, do your thing. Do your thing. See if they have any good answers to this. We could just get lost it, but we're still doing kind of okay then. They're at 10. They missed a land drop, critically. Get lost on the Elspeth. Tap Steam Vents, Beza. So I get to go for this Gearhulk, which is pretty good. Go for a Gearhulk. I think I'm just going to go for Boots, classically. Lets me swing into their Beza. And then Voyager Glidecar actually is kind of a pretty relevant, like, effect here, outside of them having another Ultima. Maybe I just go for a Mockingbird. At this point, the top end on Mockingbird is really high. If they, like, tap out for an eel, I can just copy their eel. Equip the boots on the Gearhulk. I think I'm also going to crack a map on the Gearhulk here. White is fine. Another land. Restless Prairie, pretty good. Swinging for 5. They chump. They might have another Beza. We have another Gearhulk, though. Ultima. Okay. R.I.P. Boots. A little sad. Well, go for another Gearhulk here. We can pay for a No More Lies. They don't have anything, it looks like. Let's try to just produce an annoying board here. Let's go Synthesizer Lab Ship and Ghost Vacuum, I think. Long term, this Ghost Vacuum is going to pay off with quite a lot of value. Go for the Lab Ship. Station it up. Play this Ghost Vacuum. Move to combat here. Make my Ghost Vacuum a creature and station the Lab Ship? No, let's just start exiling stuff instead. Pass it back to you. We have a whole slew of things to exile. And we've seen 2 Ultimas, but we're still in the game. A lot of value off of these cards. Jeskai Revelation. Killing my Gearhulk, bouncing my Lab Ship. Okay. Could just like exile a Beza here. Put that on the field right away. Kind of an interesting idea. Salvation Engine. Okay. So let's play a Lab Ship. Trying to draw a card off this Beza too, but I don't think I can. I kind of think I just go for it. It's not that good. Maybe I just like Perilous Snare a Monk. I'm just gonna go for the Beza. 4 life is pretty relevant. I also get a treasure out of it, probably. Bit of a tempo play. Gives me some blockers for next turn. Is it that good? I don't know. Could just play Physic and then try to Perilous Snare a Monk. Maybe I just Perilous Snare a Monk and then go for Physic afterward. We do have speed online. So this is just a Innkeeper's Talent, basically. Going to be a little annoying for them to deal with. Physic, and now we station the lab ship. And then we move into... Guess we turn the... Probably makes sense to turn the Perilous Snare into a creature and then put a counter on the Perilous Snare. No, I can't do that, but I can continue to station the lab ship. That's okay. I'm not gonna go for a counter on Physic because I'm just assuming they have like an Abrade or something they can deal with it if they want. Or a Lightning Helix. I mean, they wouldn't have been able to cast a Lightning Helix that turn, but I think getting this lab ship up to a real creature could be good. Or maybe it makes more sense to just leave it as a non-creature. Jeskai Revelation again. So that's number 2. Bouncing some stuff. Killing off Physic. Nothing I could have done there. Beza continues to look pretty good, though. Under this Ghost Vacuum. It looks even better now. Looks even better now because I can exile a second thing. We can get a Gearhulk under here, too. And still, like, get tokens off of the activation. I mean, if they had an Abrade, they would have just abraded this now, right? Go for this. Well, I guess we might as well play a lab ship first. Play a lab ship. Go for this. Gain some life, draw a card. I think we get to do everything here. Is that right? I think we just did all of them. I don't know if I've ever done that before. Search for some stiff. Could grab another lab ship. They might have like a Wanchy Tong here. I guess they would have played it in response to the trigger on the stack. Grab a glide car. Let's grab another lab ship, I think. We have this treasure to work with, interestingly enough. Play another lab ship. I guess I don't want to play out too hard into an Ultima. Let's put a counter on the Gearhulk here. Station a lab ship. Station this other lab ship. And now I can turn my lab ships into creatures. Like they feed each other at this point. Which is kind of interesting. Continue to station the lab ships. All of these things have summoning sickness, of course. Let's just play a tapped multiversal passage here. Probably not a real reason to. They could kill me next turn with 3 prowess tokens, but I'm at 15. I don't know. Doesn't seem super likely. And actually, my Salvation Engine looks kind of good next turn. I'm going to have a lot of artifact creatures, kind of randomly. Could also copy a Gearhulk with a Mockingbird. Grindy matches, y'all. Grindy matches. Fire off a main phase, consult. Lightning Helix on the Beza. 9 power on the field. Only 4 mana left. Swinging in. Do you have like Lightning Helix, Lightning Helix? Lightning Helix my face? And that'll do it. Okay. Well, apparently the math was not that complicated. I guess I should have just left back another blocker. On the play for game 3 here. Let's try to stay with it. Go down the Salvation Engine. Don't play the Salvation Engine. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It reads interesting, but I think this would have to be like a 3 mana effect for it to be any good. If it was literally just 3 mana, you know, and it's Tempered Steel, and it didn't have this like return like reanimation thing, but if it had like a decently high crew cost and it was like a 4/4, right? I think that'd be okay. Generically, it's just a pretty good artifact creature anthem that also can be a vehicle, right? Seems pretty decent. But for 5 mana, it's just you gotta affect the board immediately, and this just has the chance of not, you know. Bring in another land here. I think the first Seam Rip can be kind of okay. We haven't seen Wan Chitong yet, but I would imagine they are on it. And maybe not. Just try it like that. All right, final game for all the marbles. Pretty decent opener. Aggressive. The mana is a little awkward vis-a-vis this Mendicant Core. Oh, I think I just goofed. Yeah, I just goofed. I can't cast these Mendicant Cores. It's alright. Play it out. I wanted to get the Nesting Bot on the field turn 1 just because I think getting the speed going is that important. I should have seen that. It's my only blue source. Perilous Snare. Go swinging. I think I'm just going to play a Perilous Snare. It's online next turn, and they can't counter it. They can kill this Nesting Bot if they want. Go for a Perilous Snare. It is Innkeeper's Talent next turn. I guess they could kill my Nesting Bot, keep me from increasing my speed for a turn. I think they just might. Lightning Helix. Okay. Well, we still get a little robot under there. I think I'm going to go for another Perilous Snare. There's probably not going to be anything particularly relevant to hit with it, and the Innkeeper's Talent effect is pretty relevant here. We hit a blue source, which is kind of huge for us. Swing on in. They are stuck on blue mana. Kind of huge. Guess it probably makes sense to present a Mendicant and make them like Lightning Helix it. Okay. I'm just going to go all in on it, I guess, if they don't have anything immediately. They could have like an Ultima, which would be pretty annoying. Tapped Mistrise Village. Kind of almost our window to go for an Elspeth here. But I guess if they go for an Ultima next turn, we have Elspeth. Swing on in. Pass it back to you. Yeah, their mana situation is not great for them. Very Verge heavy. Stock up. Yo. Their hand sucks. Okay, great. Wow. So do we win or what? Tap out for a stock up, huh? Another Verge. Do you have like a split up here? What you got, my friend? Because they're dead on board. They do have to interact with what I'm doing. If I just fire up the Restless Prairie, I guess they could have a Lightning Helix. There's the Lightning Helix. Okay. Interesting. Takes me down an artifact, too. Well, I'm going to go for the Elspeth here. I think that's a little obvious. I think I'm just going to, like, put counters on the Mendicant Core, though, rather than put them on the tokens. Just keep the pressure up here. Elspeth, come out and play. Now, they could have Jeskai Revelation at this point. Get lost on the Elspeth. Annoying. Day of Judgment. Fine. Come on, Lava Spur Boots. Temple Garden. Yeah, I guess we'll just start swinging with a Prairie. Make them deal with this. We can also play a Gene Pollinator. Put them to 2. And then I have Gene Pollinator with which to attack next turn, plus second Restless Prairie. Jeskai Revelation's still pretty good for them here. Brightglass Gearhulk. It's probably good to delay. I can just like make them deal with this Gene Pollinator. You know what I mean? Let's just put counters on the Gene Pollinator and swing in. Make them deal with this, resolve my Gearhulk, outside of them having an annul as one of their last cards. Try to get my Lava Spur Boots going. Probably going to bounce my Restless Prairie here. Kills off my Gene Pollinator. Okay. Yeah, try to resolve a Gearhulk. That's what we got. See if they have a null. No, dude. I hate it when they have a null, dude. Restless Prairie. Put a Mockingbird on the field. They will have to deal with this. Copy a Prowess Monk, I guess. Doesn't hurt to do that. Prowess could be relevant. Monkbird. Perilous Snare. Part Trace. Well, I could try to double it up. I might as well, I think. Let's go for a Mendicant Core here. See if I get to put 2 of these bad boys on the stack. I mean, I guess I get to put them both on the stack. And this is lethal, so they do kind of have to deal with this. They probably have another Jeskai Revelation, is what I'm assuming. Which is a good answer to what I'm threatening to do here. Something like that. If they have Wan Shi Tong, they can cast it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I might as well put the last counter on here. Play around them, killing my guy with Wan Shi Tong. Another Jeskai Revelation, classic. Okay. Riveting stuff. Riveting stuff. Riveting stuff. Bone Diddly. Gene Pollinator. Go for a Gene Pollinator. Gives them good information, I suppose. Start trying to crack some maps. Get lost on the Gene Pollinator. Okay. Kind of feels like they just have all the resources right now. And I don't think there's much of anything I can do here. Other than just try to play out my stuff. Go for maps. Okay. Unfortunately, you can't activate the Perilous Snare at instant speed. It would be a much better card if you could. Much better card. Activate the Quarry Mountain Monastery, hit a Lightning Helix, and I'm going to guess that's all she wrote, folks. Well, we put up a good fight. Jeskai Revelation into Jeskai Revelation. Not much you can do about that. Not much you can do about that. Lightning Helix to my face. I go to 9. Fire up the Monastery again. Another Lightning Helix. Oh my god, it's Lightning Helix! GG, GG, 0-3. There's another Bant build I want to explore for maybe just the next video I record today. So look out for that. Bant is not dead. There's something there. I mean, it's just it's probably my favorite, like, tricolor combination. Yeah, not the best run. Went to game 3. Really long, grindy games. Mentally boomed. Not the end of the world. I'll see you on the next video. Hopefully I'll be a little more chipper then. Just gonna keep on trucking. So hope you do too. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.